Hello everybody, GamingMagic13 here.
And GroupUnicorn71.
And welcome back to more Halo Infinite Versus, where last time we made our way through the final story missions, or at least the first few, which are the next. I made my way through the Nexus and Command Spire. He finished up Command Spire and is starting repository. And before I hit this button to start the next cutscene, I just want to show you guys something. So, I think this happened when I streamed the game, but between episodes, I heard something in my headphones that sounded like an elite. But I wasn't quite sure why that was, because the area is clear. There's no elites anywhere near here. But it turns out, and you'll see this when you watch this video, there's just an elite, just chilling, outside the spire. An elite and a grunt, they're just hanging out. Just on the outside of the spire, like on the incline. They're just chilling. Not shooting at me. Just hanging out. I don't know why. But they are. It's weird. Oh no. No, no, no. Let's not jump outside this fireplace, thank you. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. But he's currently doing the repository, and he's currently going after probably the most convoluted skull in the entire game. Would you like to give a summation of what you need to do to get it, or do you want me to do it?
So you need to grab a Okay, let me retry that. We need to grab this power seed, and we need to put it somewhere, and then we need to play the mission, and then all of this.
Explain this to me.
You know what? You can explain it. I'm being stupid right now.
May I ask, are you trying to throw the power seed?
Yes.
Can I save you with big step here?
Sure.
Completely ignore that video. Just grapple. You can grapple with the power seed. There's no reason to try to throw it anywhere.
Oh. Wait, you can grapple with power seeds?
Yeah. I'm guessing that when they made that video, they didn't know that you could do that, because there's no other explanation. Because it's really hard to try to throw that power seed, but grappling with it is easy. That's my pro tip to you. But, yeah, so basically you have to take a power seed from one side of the room, carry it to the other side of the room, and then forget all about that. Then go later in the mission, and doing that will have unlocked a room, like a few rooms later that you have to get in, that's guarded by a bunch of invisible sword elites, that you then have to kill in order to get the skull you find inside. And what I was going to say is, because between episodes he was mentioning how that's one of the reasons why you wish there was mission replay. And what I was going to say in response was that I don't think there's a reasonable way for a player to figure out on their own that that's what you're supposed to do. Because with the other skulls, the one in Worship of Bracken and Foundation, you can find it with the scanner. If you use your scanner and you're perceptive enough, you can actually look hard enough to find where those skulls are. But with the one in Repository, no amount of searching is gonna help you figure out where the hell it is. The only way you are gonna find that skull is if you just, even if you think to check the rooms on the side and grab the power seed, that's not enough, because then you have to figure out what that power seed door even opens. And on your first run through, you're not gonna know to check any of the windows that have all the invisible sword elites in it. So yeah, it's a pain. So did grappling the sword help you out at all?
Yeah. No.
I figured as much.
The next area, and this guy didn't die to what is supposed to kill him. So.
Was it a skewer shot?
Oh no, do I know if this power seed... Oh, fuck.
The repository has a lot of power seeds. Not even just in regards to getting the skull, but also in terms of the main mission, you gotta get a lot of them to beat it. So yeah, this mission has that first skull, and then there's two audio logs that are, well, one technically, because there's two audio logs that count for the mission, but one of them you get automatically, and then the other one is pretty out in the open, but you gotta go the right way, so I'll guide you along that path once you get to that point. But yeah, I really wish there was mission, because what I would have liked to do, I mentioned last episode that I was replaying the game to test out some boss fights, and I wish it would have been really nice if I could have just picked the missions I wanted to go play them by default and not have to replay the entire game to get to that point. Because it's just, like, I love the game, but I don't want to have to replay it every time I want to play a specific mission, because that's just really time-consuming.
Because you have to unlock upgrades again. I almost fell off the map. You basically have to do everything in order to replay the missions again. It's just kind of useless. It's like, why?
Well, I can imagine technologically why it wouldn't be there, because obviously it's not quite as binary as it used to be, where you just pick a mission and you play, because now there's the whole issue of you have to make sure all your... you have to... Because now that your weapons carry over, you have to account for that. You have to account for what do you... Where does it spawn you? How does it restrict you? There's a lot of... Because if you reset just one... I don't know, it's hard to... Like, the excavation site, I guess, at what point do you... There's a lot of stuff in regards to how the open world interacts that you have to consider when you reset a mission from square one. So it's not quite as simplistic as it used to be. So I understand why it's harder to do, but it still should have been there day one. Especially, because, like, that guide you saw for the skull makes it look easy, but imagine how many times that person had to replay trying to figure out how in the world you even get these skulls. And you can't just... Now, granted, I'm sure they did it on easy, not legendary, but still. It's still a lot of game.
I don't even know how you'd find the skull in legendary, considering how many enemies there are and stuff. I'm just glad I didn't try to 100% this game on my own.
On your first attempt, yeah.
Yeah, because that would have been... I would have actually cried.
I found my rule, because I didn't do 100% my first try either. I just did what I wanted without really much concern. I didn't get all the propaganda towers or all the... Even all the HVTs. I didn't go to the top of the map to kill that one HVT with the rapid fire pulse carbine. And I certainly didn't tackle the 2 red hunters. I didn't even capture all the fobs. I just played... I stopped doing side stuff when I wanted to do the main mission, and then I did as much side stuff until I was ready to get back to the story. And then as far as collectibles, I listened to audio logs as I found them, and I didn't have much concern for anything else, basically. So yeah, that's... I didn't go out of my way to find any of that stuff, because I've seen some Let's Players, that would not leave any of the main missions until they found absolutely everything, which is fine, but because of how cumbersome it is to find some of that stuff, it can be a little aggravating to both try to find them and to actually watch someone try to find them. Especially in regards to, because for stuff like Excavation Site, it's easy, because you just listen for the audio logs, you go to the Spartan cores, and then you win. But for a mission like Repository, it's a whole other ball game. It's an absolute nightmare. So yeah, I didn't... Especially if because I think you mentioned your plan was to kind of mop up after the fact, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that's not... Like, there was no way for you to know that wasn't possible. So, it's not really your fault. That, like, his plan was play the game first once, and then afterwards go back to all the missions to mop up later. But he didn't know that there was no mission select, so that plan was kind of... Oh! Sentinel flanked me. There was no way for him to actually account for that.
Because it makes zero sense. The mission's on the map, yet you can't click it to replay it, which makes zero sense. In every other open world game like this, you just click the mission, you could replay it, but...
Yeah, I really... I wish... I just wish you could replay missions. It's really all I had to say about it. Because, I mean, especially, I would be interested to see, I guess just in a new game plus mode, where you start with all your abilities, like, so that you could use the threat sensor, drop wall, and thruster for all the original missions, and just to see how that plays out. Or, just to use some of the advanced weapons you unlock from the HVTs. Just replay missions, new game plus, something. I mean, they at least, like they said, I think, oh my god, they said pretty quickly that they were going to be working and trying to get it out after launch, but because, I mean, I talked about this previously, and I want to preface this again by saying I don't work at 343. I don't claim to know the ins and outs of what goes on at that studio, but there's been a lot of Glassdoor reviews that have come out recently, even more so since I last spoke about this, that seem to make it clear that 343 is a horribly mismanaged company, and that there's a lot of really talented people that work there, but the upper management just doesn't, I don't want to say doesn't care, because again, I can't speak to it on a personal level, but it's just very mismanaged in terms of their priorities of that company and their principles as a studio. So yeah, it's an unfortunate turn of events. Are you following me in here? I just wanna, hello friends. Goodbye. More? Okay. But it's just, I've never really understood, like, from a business perspective, wouldn't you, it should be in your best interest to make sure your employees can put out the best job possible. And by the way, that's what, don't misconstrue my words. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about the health of your employees. In fact, I would always say that the personal health of your employees should come first and foremost in every single time. But from a business perspective, in terms of making money for your company, your priority should be, or like, it makes sense for your priority to be earning money as efficiently as possible. So what I would say in response, what I would say to that end is that, doesn't it stand to reason that your employees will put their best foot forward when they're content and they're happy with the position they're in? Because it seems like a lot of horror stories come out about game development studios where it's just endless horror stories of the crunch culture where they don't really care about you. They see you as tools, not people, and that they're only concerned with making sure you get it done on time, come hell or high water, and they have no concern for you as a person, and they just care about the work you produce. Which sucks because, like, I can say some personal experience, even just in my years from kindergarten through high school, I wanted to do the best I could for the teachers that proved to care about me, for teachers who showed that they were interested in not just what I made, but what my state of mind was when I made it, and make sure we all had a good workload, we weren't overworked, we were happy with what we were doing, and didn't mistreat us like horrible people. Or, like, didn't mistreat us as a horrible person. Because that's what my English teacher did in 10th grade. She didn't care about us at all. She was horrible, condescending, and just straight, downright mean to all of us. And to no one. Everybody hated her. And I finally had the guts to stand up to her bullshit towards the end of sophomore year. Because I was just so fed up with it. And everyone hailed me as a hero. Because I was the only person who had the guts to stand up to her bullshit and say, like, how you're treating us isn't fair. Please, like, this isn't acceptable for any of us. And I did it in a much more public, grandiose display. Maybe I'll tell that story one day. But the core of the story is that I had no desire to impress her at all. But teachers who actually had concern for us as people, not as just people, not for us as students, not as people to get work done. I cared a lot more about putting my best foot forward for those classes than I did for the others, and I would imagine the same would apply to game development, and that you want, when an employer treats you, like when your boss treats you with respect, and they treat you as a human that has a personal life, that has a mental health to take care of, and people to take care of, and a family and all that, I would imagine that you'd be better incentivized to want to do better work for them than you would for a producer that just shows no concern for you at all. So it's just always frustrating. I was just gonna say, to kind of close my thoughts on this, it just always sucks to see, because a lot of people, like a lot of higher-ups in these kinds of businesses, do have that mindset of money first, and that's why I kind of led the discussion by saying, obviously, because the number one counter to what I'm saying would obviously be, well, that's just because they want to make money. Like, the goal of a business is to make money, which is true. It's a true fact that the goal of a business at the end of the day is to make money. But that doesn't mean you have to not care. Like, caring about your employees and making a quality product and making money, those aren't mutually exclusive things. In fact, I would even go so far as to saying that making sure your employees are happy with the position they're in goes hand in hand with putting out the best quality product or business or service or whatever you want to call it that you can. That was a long tangent. Do you have any disagreements or thoughts to put forth on what I've just gone over?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty much the same thoughts for me. It's because, you know, you're supposed to not be stupid, and I feel like you save more money if you have good employees than lower quality mid employees, like, because you don't take care of your good employees, so you have to hire more people to get more work done, so it just makes no sense.
Yeah, you hire more people to get more work done, which costs you more money in the long run. And more often than not, like, people who are really talented don't tend to want to put up, because when you're really talented, so long as you have the proper experience, the job market is more open for you than it is for someone with, I mean, I even just, the perpetual contradiction of you need a job to get experience and you need experience to get a job will always be perpetually frustrating. But generally speaking, those with a stronger set of raw skills will have an easier time finding a quality job than those who are just, like, entering in and still learning the tips and tricks. So when you mistreat the people who really know what they're doing have less incentive to stay at a company like that because they know that their resources can be used just about anywhere. Whereas someone just entering may be less incentivized to want to leave because they're just kind of finding their footing and they're just finding a job to stabilize themselves. I mean, even, this is going to be outdated, but did you see that email from Applebee's recently?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so to give you the gist of it, I actually just saw this before sitting down to record this video. So you know how gas prices are being majorly inflated right now? For obvious reasons. Yeah, so I think it was the CEO of Applebee's, I'll put text on the screen right now to correct me if I've got information wrong here, because I don't want to misconstrue anything. But I think it was the CEO that sends out an email saying something along the lines of, because gas prices are increasing, that decreases the amount of disposable income that people are going to have, which means that we can start paying our employees less, because it will then force them to work more and be mutually beneficial for us in the long run.
Huh?
You read a statement from someone like that, and you're just like, so all you care about is money. Like, you just care about the business, and you don't actually care about the people who are working for you. Because, like, first of all, that logic is broken. Second of all, it just is a telltale sign of business over people. Because,
Wait, can you repeat that statement? That made zero sense.
Yeah. So I'll actually get the exact quote, because, to be fair, I might have misread it. I might have misread it in some capacity, but I'll try to get the official statement just so I don't want to read the full thing, but okay, so, oh, okay. He told the staff to offer lower wages because people are now desperate. The logic being that, any increase in gas prices cuts into, this is a quote, by the way, any increase in gas prices cuts into their disposable income. And as inflation continues to climb and gas prices continue to go up, that means more hours employees will need to work to maintain their current level of living.
So he lowers their wages.
Yeah. The logic being that they pay less, which forces them to work more, which decreases the amount of employees you have to hire because they're willing to work for longer periods of time, so there's less shift changes. It costs you less. I don't know. It's, like, to be fair, in case anyone tries...
That makes zero sense. Like...
Yeah, so just to be clear, in case anyone thinks I'm trying to defend this line of thinking, I'm not. I think this is an idiotic way of thinking, and it shows no concern whatsoever for the mental well-being of your employees. But it just kind of ties into what I've been saying about the whole... A lot of people have this mindset of just... Not a lot of people, actually. Select businesses have this horrible mindset of business comes before all else, and they just show no concern for their employees. But, I mean, even if you just want to talk about the logic, I don't even think this logically follows.
Because gas prices have no correlation to chefs and wait staff. Or, like, waiters. So, it makes zero sense for... Like, why would they change their wages? Like, I would feel like you'd want it because inflation. What inflation does is it just keeps everyone's wages the same. No one loses money. No one loses like no one loses salary, but since money is becoming less what it's worth, then eventually everyone has to get paid more, not paid less.
Well, so I think what they mean is that because of the commute time to and from work, they have the amount of money they have to spend on gas prices is going up, which cuts into their standard amount of disposable income, which is going to obviously to counterbalance it, and so that to make sure, like from an employee's perspective, the mindset being, well, gas prices are going up, which means I have less disposable income, and my work wage has now gone down, meaning I have even less money. So to try to keep up with the rising gas prices, I now have to. I'm gonna have to start working extra long hours to make sure I can maintain my current level of living, kind of thing. I think, and to clarify again, I'm not saying this is good. In fact, I think it's horrible. I'm just sort of trying to. I'm trying to figure out the logic. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to understand the actual mindset that goes into making a stupid decision like this. Oh, I almost missed the skulls, but I almost missed. Let's not do that. So yeah, I'm just trying to articulate what the thought process is behind this decision, but I think you and I are both on the same page here. This makes zero sense from every conceivable angle.
Yeah, it just doesn't, like, people will just leave their job. Like, they'll just leave their job and find a better one. Like,
yeah, they'll find a better job that pays an ample wage.
I'm pretty sure, like, a bunch of stuff's reopened, so a lot of places are looking for employees.
Like, it doesn't...
They're getting a lot of minimum wage or, you know, in that range of jobs available. What is this annoying ass beeping? Dude, I don't... There's something like beeping in my game. It's really annoying. It's like... It's like... It's so annoying.
For a second, I thought you meant it might have been an audio log. And I was like, I think that might be an audio log beep. But no, that doesn't sound like an audio log beeping.
It's way faster than that. It's like... I don't know how to explain it.
Is it like...
just really annoying.
My initial thought process is that maybe it's an audio bug that got stuck. Like, it could be a Sentinel sound effect that's looping infinitely kind of thing. I don't know. I need to hear it to understand exactly what it might be, but that's my initial guess is that it might be something like that. Anyway, I'm currently fighting a bunch of... Oh. What I was gonna say is I'm currently fighting a bunch of elites to try to get that skull.
I wonder if it's my headset or if it's going from the... No, it's not the headset.
Oh yeah, I guess it could have also been like a headset's running low on battery kind of thing. That could have been an explanation. But yeah, I don't know for sure.
What the fuck is that beeping? That's actually really annoying. I lost my train of thought of what I was gonna say.
We were just talking about how a lot of businesses are open up, so they're looking for...
Oh yeah, employees, they could just find a new job. Like, why would they want to work somewhere that pays them less because they're suffering? Like, that makes zero sense.
Yeah, it's just ludicrous. That's kind of what I mean when I say, like, people place their priorities more so with the bottom line than with the health of their employees. But also, in this particular situation, the logic itself doesn't even track. Because... like, sometimes you can, like, with crunch culture and forcing employees to work late hours to get something done, at the very least, and again, I need to preface this statement by saying I'm not defending this, I'm simply explaining the logic being, well, when you make people work for longer periods of time, then you're getting the product done quicker, and which means you can meet investor deadlines and all that. Whereas with this, there's just no logic running through this decision at all. Like, taking just any amount of time to think about the implications of this just makes the entire logic fall apart at the seams instantly, as we've just gone over. Oh, dear God.
I think I have to restart my game. This beeping's actually getting on my nerves.
Okay, do you have a recent checkpoint?
Yes.
Alright,
this
yes.
beeping is so annoying. Like, it's just low enough to, like... not be loud, but it's just constant.
Loud enough to annoy you.
Yes. I don't know what the hell it is. I've never heard this before.
Well, hopefully, exiting out will fix it.
I'll keep going and see if it stops.
Yes. Have you reached the cutscene yet?
Power
Oh no, you're at that part. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a...
So let me know. Have you gotten the first power seed yet, or are you still working on the first one?
No, I just died to like 3 plasma turret guys.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say
I know
is,
what the beeping is. It's from the shock. It's from the whatever the grenade is.
dynamo grenade.
I think so. Because I threw 2 of those, and the beeping hasn't stopped since then. At least I think. I'm not sure. Who knows?
I would try to test it with throwing 2 dynamo grenades of my own, but I don't have any dynamo grenades, so unfortunately I can't replicate.
The mines. Like I threw both the mine and then the beeping started. I think. So I think that's the issue.
So in that case, I would say if you get another one, try to throw it and see if that stops it, because that might force the audio sound effect to replay and then stop the loop. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that was something that happened in Halo 5, was occasionally one of the sound effects, be it a turret firing or a cannon charging up, would loop. And when it loops, it just sticks in your hair. But the second you either fire that gun or activate a turret again, it'll reset the audio loop and then it'll clear it out. Ah. Okay. Hey, so you got the skull, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Those elites are painful.
You served me well, Leonidas. Your sacrifice is appreciated.
One thing you could try... I don't know if it'll help, but if you go into your settings, like, in-game, and try to lower or change the audio settings, just do something to try to force the audio settings to reset. That might help. I don't know for sure. I'm not an audio expert.
Why would she?
But, yeah, if it doesn't... I'd say if it doesn't stop by the time you either reach the cutscene or leave the repository and go back outside for the road, I'd say that's probably an indication that you might need to reset your game. But I'm hopefully by that point it'll have already subsided.
There's another lift nearby.
Yeah, there's a huge push on social media right now to boycott Applebee's because of the fact that they're lowering their wages to account for what's happening with the inflation.
I don't even know why people like Applebee's. Their food does not taste that good.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I am not an authority on the subject matter at all because, as you know, eating at restaurants is not a thing that I do regularly for obvious reasons. So
Yeah.
I can't really speak to the quality of their restaurant because I've never personally eaten there myself. But what I have heard consistently is a 3-step guide to replicating the Applebee's experience. Step 1, buy a frozen food. Step 2, buy your microwave. Step 3, place frozen food into microwave. And then you've replicated the experience of eating at Applebee's, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it sounds pretty accurate.
I have been in an Applebee's because I did this science Olympiad in high school, which I was really I liked the team, I liked the event, I was a big fan of it, and then I'm gonna go on a tangent in a second, but just for this story, our tradition was every year we made it to states, which sounds arrogant, like every year we make it to states, but I don't know what to tell you, we did. We made it to states every year, and every time we did our tradition, because we had to drive halfway across the state to get to the college where the tournament was held. So what we do is we would take the bus, like the school bus there, and then once we got there, we would check into the hotel, get our rooms sorted out, and then we would go out to dinner at Applebee's, and then after that we would return back. Well, sometimes we would make a pit stop at Target just to buy any extra supplies we needed for any of our events, because some events for the Science Olympiad tournament were physical, and that you actually had to build some kind of scientific experiment or physics demonstration or something like that, and the others were cerebral in that it was actually just like taking a test on your knowledge of a certain scientific concept, if you know what I mean. So sometimes we would make a pit stop there to kind of go to make sure we had everything we needed. But so it was always our tradition to go to Applebee's. I never ate there, of course, because it's not really a safe place to, well, just restaurants in general are kind of tricky, and you don't want to, when you're that far away, you don't really want to risk something going wrong.
Yeah.
But I have heard from the people that I ate with that was just consistent for Applebee's. It's just like, it's just reheated microwave food, except really overpriced. But, yeah, so I can't say I was ever really an Applebee's. Can't say I was ever really an Applebee's fan, but I also never have anything against them. I certainly have made some memories there, just kind of talking with friends at the before the science tournaments, but I've never eaten a single piece of food from there, ever. There's a lot of restaurants. Someone on my Discord server posted a tier list of a bunch of fast food chains, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, I've eaten there was like 20 or 30 restaurants, and I saw it and I was like, wow, I've eaten at exactly 3 of these places. And only one of...
What's crazy is Applebee's fast food? Because it's like, you go there, you order food, you sit, you wait, you know.
Well, so
it's like, but the thing about it is, even though it's a like, I consider it a dine-in restaurant, because you know, I don't know what you consider it, but, like, some fast food places taste better than that, which make no sense. Like, it's a dine-in restaurant, and fast food tastes better than Applebee's, so it makes 0 sense.
So,
If that makes
I've
sense.
personally... Oh, and I get what you mean. I've personally never defined fast food as just being like a drive-through thing where you never actually order food and sit down and all that. Because, like, would you consider Red Robin to be a fast food place?
No.
Oh, so I definitely would. Just on the sheer... Because I think fast food is generally referred to more on the quality of the meal, less so the I don't know, means through which you are delivered the meal, I guess. Because, like, Burger King is another place. Burger King is, I guess you more traditionally think of that as fast food, I suppose, rather than a Red Robin.
Yeah, like, places with a drive-thru I consider fast food, not really somewhere you sit and eat.
Or maybe not.
I can see that, and I guess at the end of the day, it might just come down to semantics for how you define it. But I've always felt that fast food is more defined by the tier level of quality that goes into the cooking of the food, more so than the, like, how long it... I know it sounds contradictory when I say not how long it takes to get the food when fast food is literally in the name, but, I don't know, I guess it just depends on how you define it. But the tangent I was going to go on is that, in regards to the Science Olympiad, I don't know how it was at your school in high school, but for my school, anything that even remotely related to cerebral activities and science was just never included in the yearbook at all. Like, ever.
That's dumb.
It was always just, like, there was pages, there were 2 pages for every single sport, but for stuff like the robotics, the robotics team, the Science Olympiad, and other more scientific, not neurological, cerebral-based activities that are more about knowledge and learning rather than sports, those never got a chance to shine. They were always second rate, I guess, compared to that, because high schools just generally value athletics significantly more than they do things like robotics and stuff. Just, yeah. I guess, because you always hear people getting scholarships for one kind of sport or another. Never so much, you never hear someone getting a scholarship because they excelled at some kind of science competition. That's not a thing. Then you never hear people hiring professional coaches for that either. Which is...
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. Makes no sense.
Of course, there are scholarships for grades, but not so much for... not the actual... Because sports are after-school activities that you participate in much the same way that Science Olympiad and robotics are, but you don't ever see anyone getting rewarded financially, like, for college for those things. You only ever see that for sports, which sucks, because I think because, I mean, like, it just goes to the yearbook thing. There was never anything about that in the yearbook for for those sorts of activities. Or the best you'll get was that you'll see the team picture in the the team picture, or the picture of the whole team together. You'll see that in the yearbook, and that's the most you're ever gonna get. You don't actually get an in-depth page of people interviewing interviewing the competitors, or interviewing the teachers that support the activity, or pictures from the event, or anything like that. Or you never see models from the robotics team. You never see interviews with the lead roboticist on campus. You never see any of that. You only ever see stuff like, wow, look at this amazing goal that this person made in soccer, and stuff like that, which is always extremely frustrating. But speaking of extremely frustrating, these two, the scrap cannon brute and the plasma turret brute in repository. Frustrating. Extremely, because almost nothing stuns them. I also have no grenades. It's unfortunate. Yeah, so how was it at your school with the whole athletics versus scientific activities kind of thing?
I didn't know. I know that a bunch was focused on athleticism, but I don't think we had any science stuff. I mean, he probably did, but I didn't pay attention to it. Because high school is high school, and I really didn't care.
Fair enough. I just had a massive voice crack. At least it wasn't as painful as middle school. That was... Or at least for me it wasn't. I can't speak to...
Let me restart the game, because this is still going on. It's very...
The beeping?
Yes. It's going on in the cutscenes too, so it's like, why?
Don't worry, you're not gonna lose much ground here, because I'm still fighting the scrap cannon and brute cannon guys. So, you are losing no progress against me here. Please let there be enough. Okay, one of them's down. Oh, so I assume by that comment that means you've reached the infamous cutscene with a weapon.
I think.
The one where it gets super close to her face and she kind of comes to terms with being Cortana. And Chief says, we do it together. That one?
Before that cutscene, I stopped. Or restarted.
Oh, okay. So, in that case, like I said, once you get to that room, it's the room where they have the cutscene and then she says, okay, let's go save him, and then they launch a scrap cannon brute at you. There's two ways you can go in that room. You can either go left or right. There's an audio log to the left, nothing to the right. So you want to make sure you go to the left in that room.
After the cutscene?
Yeah.
Oh my.
And did something go wrong? Because something went wrong on my end as well. Oh. What happened?
Where the fuck?
What's going on? I have no idea what's going on. I am receiving dead silence right now, so all I can do is try not to die against the plasma cannon. Or sorry, scrap cannon.
Wait, why am I on my main account? Oh my goodness, this game just scared the fucking living hell.
What happened?
Why am I on my main account? It switched me to my main account for some reason. Is this game
interesting?
I didn't even touch anything, I just quit the game! Oh my god.
Yes,
back.
I don't...
There's a way you could switch in the menus.
Press the X, like the home button, left bumper twice. Sorry, left bumper 3 times, or
yeah,
actually, I guess...
I have to...
And you can, like, switch... So, as a reminder to everyone at home, you all can see both perspectives. I can only see one, so I have to just listen to what's going on and figure out from there or try to piece together what's happening on my end of things.
Dude, I thought it spawned me at a fob, and I got so confused. But I forgot. I forgot. I restarted my game, but I was on my main account to talk in the party. I wasn't on my Smurf or this account, the other account.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Oh my goodness, it scared the absolute living hell out of me.
I would also be terrified. Like if I
Dude,
loaded
it spawned me at a fob. I was so confused. I was about to throw something.
that would have been. At that point, it would have just been instantly game over, because there would have been nothing you could have done. At that point, I gained so much... If it actually had reset you that far and you had to do all that over again, there would have been nothing you could have possibly done. But
Yeah.
thankfully...
Thank God I spawned where I'm supposed to spawn. I don't hear any annoying beeping anymore.
Yay! For as much of a tumultuous process as it was, we finally sorted it out. We solved the mystery.
The headquarters?
Okay. I think I am approaching the room with the cutscene. Yeah, this is it. Alright.
Not good.
And...
Like someone doesn't want us to leave.
override lockdown. Okay. I have reached the cutscene where... I guess I should have introduced this cutscene as the one where Cortana blows up Atriox's homeworld.
How do you stand?
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I think it's that one.
Yeah. So, have you reached that point, or where are you currently in the mission?
I'm in the cutscene right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so after this, you gotta go through the left door. And then
Okay.
the audio log will be through there. And then once you scan... You can scan it. I mean, it's not very well hidden. It's pretty obvious. But you can use the scan to help you find it if you need to.
Look upon Doisek one last
And then that will be it for the repository, which means it's just the last two missions that have collectibles. The road does not have any, anything of the sort. So here's something. Did you know that the person who voices Atriox is actually voiced by the person who voiced Locke in Halo 5?
an entire
Really?
planet?
Yeah.
Did they put like a filter on his voice?
I think they put I'm assuming they put a filter on the voices for all the brutes, because I don't... Like, I can try to make my voice do the whole, our time together is ending, to replicate that sort of gravelly feel that all the brutes have, but I'm pretty
Also,
sure
how
that...
do they learn English?
Through...
You're not telling me.
I actually don't know the answer to that question.
Because I feel like if we're fighting an alien race, they have their own language. And they would not be able to communicate with us.
I'll get this open.
According to... Oh, right, Contact Harvest. Covenant language translation software intercepted human comm transmissions after the Battle of Harvest, and thus the Covenant learned English quickly.
Let's get this over with.
Ah.
You
I see.
chose this path. I'm her.
This cutscene seriously threw me for such a loop when I watched it for the first time. Because I know I mentioned this before, but I'll go over it again in case anyone's just joining the series now. The realization of the weapon realizing that she was Cortana, and this big dramatic moment where she just goes, I'm her? My reaction was, yes, we knew you were a copy of Cortana the whole time. There's no, like, I read Shadows of Reach, I had no surprises there. So I thought what they were trying, my immediate assumption to try to figure out why they treated this as such a big reveal was, oh, she's not realizing that she's a copy of Cortana, she's realizing that she is Cortana, which is why she drops to her knees like that and has this emotional breakdown, realizing, oh, I did all that, but I don't, it's kind of like the Winter Soldier, like Bucky Barnes from from the Captain America movies. He doesn't have any recollection, or no, he remembers them, but he wasn't in control of his mind when he carried out all the missions as the Winter Soldier to, like, kill all his targets. But it was still him who did it, so it's kind of the same thing here where the weapon feels the regret for everything that she did as Cortana. She just can't remember it, so it's just kind of this, like, imagine if you were told today that you did all these horrible atrocities years ago that you just have no memory of, but that would, I feel like that would break you as a person. So just seeing her break down like this, and Jen Taylor's performance is exceptional for all three characters, and just the way the music suddenly builds up and calls back to the Halo 3 theme, right as Chief just picks her up and gives her that reassuring sentence of, "We do it together." All of it works so well. The writers, for as much trouble as I'm sure the team went through to put this game together, for as much of a hellish nightmare development cycle it must have been, I cannot sing your praises enough. The degree to which you knocked it out of the ballpark with this game's story cannot be overstated. So yeah, that's my unbridled praise. And now it's something completely different. The hell happened over there?
Dude, everything just went terribly wrong. I don't know what that was. My whole brain just shut down.
I've had moments like that before.
Okay. My goodness. This should not be that hard. Oh no. You have a skewer.
You just make a bunch of combo mistakes in a row and you're like, man, you know you're better than this. You should not be making these silly mistakes. What are you doing here today? Yeah, I've had that feeling. I have had that feeling. Okay,
Where
probably don't want
the AI in this game sometimes makes me think it was programmed by a toddler. Dude, this brute was literally just running. Like, I don't know where he was running to, he was just running. So you said go left, go right, go up, down, left, right, do a cool little spin move, and where the fuck?
Okay, so once you, after the cutscene room, if you go left and then follow that route forward...
Okay, but what's left?
Okay, so from that room, find the pedestal where you first...
Okay.
And then from there, turn left. Yeah. If you go through that room, or through that door, and follow the path in that direction, it's not the room immediately after that, it might be the second room after that, that you have to go into, and then that's where you find the audio log. So yeah, that's where you can find it. Because you already got one audio log by default, or you will get one by default, I think at the end of the mission. Or sorry, not at the end of the mission. Actually, okay, that's how you find out. When you get the message on your screen that says damage message repaired, that's the room that has the audio log inside of it.
Okay.
Oh, hi. I think we're literally at the exact same spot, because I just got the audio log too.
Oh.
I just touched the button to unlock the door, and now I'm going to a loading screen.
Same.
So, wow, we are perfectly in sync with each other. Nice.
I feel like if I didn't get stunlocked at those groups...
Oh yeah, you'd be way ahead of me.
Because I think you're just gonna win on the fact that you did everything in the open world first, and I, like, skipped all of that.
Well, so here's the thing. It's important to keep in mind that Eshram, Jaeger, Domnai, Eshram, and the Harbinger are going to be major determining factors here, because I've gotten stuck on the Harbinger for a long time, because that boss fight is a pain in the ass. So if you do that effortlessly, and I get stuck there for a while, you have plenty of room to catch up. Oh, dear God.
Yeah, but I don't have any armor lock. And I'm missing a significant amount of audio.
Possibly, but, still, it doesn't take too, like, once you figure out where you're going, it doesn't take too much time to sweep through them all. So, whereas it can take a long time to beat the Harbinger, I think there's still plenty of time to turn things around. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. I need a battle rifle.
Also, how frequently would you say you use the drop wall in this game, like, since you unlocked it?
I've not used it at all. Oh, I've used it a few times.
Because I use it very regularly. Like,
I just hate the equipment switcher, so I only switch between like the
Threat sensor?
the threat sensor,
The thruster?
yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame you for not wanting to use for the equipment switcher being so bad that it prevents you from wanting to even use the other stuff, because it's really bad. Like, I keep saying...
when I made that noise and you got confused, or
yeah.
you got confused? Because I was trying to put the drop ball down, and for the life of me, I could not figure out the button movement to put the drop ball down, so I just died. And I died like 3 times to that, so it's kind of not fun.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah. There's I've heard the same from a lot of people. A lot of people will say that, like, the equipment switcher is so bad that it just made them not want to use anything else. Only use the grapple the whole time. Which I think is unfortunate, because there is a lot of dynamic to the combat that can be used from using all the equipment you have available to you. It's just that so few people are willing to do that because of how cumbersome it is to switch between all the equipment. Which is frustrating. Like, I think I said before, my 2 biggest issues with this game, and we're gonna experience one of them right now, is the vehicles. Vehicles suck. Well, I mean, the Razorback is good, and the Scorpion is good while it's alive. It's just that it is so goddamn weak. The Scorpion is weak, the Wasp is pathetic. It just sucks how weak they are. That is one big issue. The other big issue I have is the equipment switcher, and the fact that it's just so frustrating to... I mean, I get more used to it. The longer the game goes on for, the more I start to get used to it. But it's still not... I just wish... I think it also kind of ties into the UI. Because you know how previously in Halo games it was all spread out throughout the 4 different corners of the screen? Whereas now it's all shoved into the bottom right corner. So because it's all shoved into the bottom right corner, we can't... The only way they have to actually switch equipment around, because used to be you were able... Like in Halo 3 and 4 and 5, you could see... And ODST and Reach. You could see all the types of grenades you had at all times, and just use the D-pad to switch between them, like just going down a row, and not using a switcher. But because the way the UI is orchestrated, you no longer have that option available to you. You have to use the hotkeys to switch between them. It kind of makes a big difference. If I'm explaining myself. I'm sorry, I'm trying to focus on combat while talking, which is never a great idea. And speaking of the devil, my Scorpion just blew up. So that's nice.
It's so fun. I can't shoot. I can't shoot. I can't shoot! Yo! Dude. Dude. It's not letting me shoot. What the f is the point? Oh my goodness.
What's going on?
My Wraith didn't want to shoot. Like, it just didn't shoot.
So, what would you say if I told you I experienced that exact same problem before, and I don't know why?
That's slightly annoying.
I don't know what it is about... In fact, wait a second. I can't... So, I was just talking about it. I can't do it either. I cannot shoot the Wraith. It's not... It's not me hitting the right trigger, and it's not actually firing. The same exact problem you had, I'm having right now.
0 cents.
So, if you want to hear my guess as to what's going on, if this is consistent...
They destroyed the turret.
Yeah, I think that...
it is.
I think that might be what's going on here, because just before I jumped into the Wraith, one of my Marines foolishly, in an attempt to kill one of the elites, they shot at the Wraith, and then the second I jumped into it, I just couldn't shoot it. And like, I wasn't even in it. It was just chilling in the garage, and then I jumped inside. And then I just couldn't, out of the gate, I couldn't fire out of it. So I'm guessing that's probably, because that's what happens with the Scorpion. If they shoot off the giant gun on top of the Scorpion, you can't fire it. So, I take it that means you took the Scorpion, or the Wraith out of the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
I took a Scorpion. Maneuverability.
So I don't use the Scorpion too quick.
Fair enough. See, I did the reverse. I took the Scorpion to clear out that Wraith out of the gate, and then I've saved the Because I didn't want to, because the Wraith, it can be cumbersome to kill enemy Wraiths in a friendly Wraith, where Scorpions are much more agile, or not agile, but they're much better with that, whereas the Wraith is a lot more maneuverable, so I wanted to save the Wraith for later.
I see.
So we've basically just done the exact same thing, but in opposite directions. And I ordinarily would have taken
the Marines can't drive vehicles, because I would love for them to drive this,
the Rocket Hog.
Wraith. No, there's a Wraith in the garage, a completely new one.
That's the one I jumped into. And then as soon as I jumped into it, it was like, nah, you don't get to shoot this thing. You just get to use it as a vehicle to drive in. Because that's what you just do, I guess. Oh, that's a sniper. Stay away from me, sniper. The thing is, I'd love to use the Rocket Hog, because I used the Rocket Hog in my heroic playthrough. Oh, that's gonna kill me. Or it's not somehow. And there goes the Wraith. Alright, well. Now that's just when things get complicated, because all my vehicles are dead. Every single one of them. Hey, Hunter. I think that counted as a shot. Oh. Okay. Shoot him again.
Oh.
Shoot.
I didn't know that was here.
What's here?
The Rocket Hog.
Oh, damn it.
Okay, well, all my Marines I just saved.
Probably back at the garage. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, this is a checkpoint. Actually, it's not that bad.
I think they despawned.
They might have pushed up without you, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where you are specifically, so I can't offer.
How do you make them follow you?
Try to scan near them.
The fuck are you shooting?
Target eliminated.
Interesting.
I've found that typically, if you, just walking up to a Marine is enough to make them follow you. If you then scan, it will, like, remind them that they're on your team, and they'll follow you from there. Usually.
Oh, okay. Dude. What the fuck are they shooting at? I don't know what they're shooting at. It's very odd.
Are they just shooting at the grass?
They're shooting at the hill.
There might be a brute hiding up there. The brutes do tend to hide in the hills.
That's probably
what's
happening then.
Keep your guard up.
Oh my goodness. My Marines are kind of stupid.
I call that a
Oh
win.
my god. Really? I was unlucky.
Did something go horribly wrong?
They shot out both my rear tires. I lost all traction.
Oof. That is a cool mechanic, though, that they can actually shoot at individual tires. It kind of affects how the vehicle performs. Especially for multiplayer, because previously there wasn't really an incentive to shoot the tires of a vehicle, but now there's actually, like, if you shoot the tires, it can slow them down, and then if you destroy enough of them, you lose your traction, so it works. It helps to add some layers to the vehicle combat in multiplayer. Sucks that they're so weak that people don't want to use them in the first, well, I can't say that. For campaign, they're weak, but in multiplayer, if someone gets a Banshee, that's just a Banshee or a tank, it's just game over. Warthogs are still pretty deal-withable, manageable is the term I'm looking for. Deal-withable. But anything higher than that, not so much. Oh, well, guess I'll die. There goes that Wraith. Okay, so we're at about an hour. I propose that we go until we reach, you know, the gates that are before the House of Reckoning and then the new music spawns in? I propose we go until we reach that gate and then we call a video there, because I'm almost at the gate right now. I don't know where you are.
Okay. I think I'm almost there. I lost my front tire, so I can't...
Can you see the House of Reckoning in the distance?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then that means you're probably right next to the gate.
Oh yeah, I'm at the gate. Oh, and I just died. Oh my god. That's a lot of enemies.
Oh, on the other side of the gate? Yeah. That's why I recommend saving this for the next episode, because it's going to take us a while to clear out all those enemies.
Yeah, I'll just pause here.
I'm still I mean, you can still make progress while we wait, while you wait, because I'm still fighting the 200s outside. So you're more than welcome to keep going. I just don't want to... I feel like that should be a decent stopping point for us in general. God, I need better weapons than what I have currently. How are they doing on health? Well, actually, they're not doing that bad. Ugh. Please do something. Okay, that's one. Overcharge. Need another drop wall. Need it now. Drop wall, please. Drop wall, please. Thank you. Ugh. Almost there, buddy. There we go. Okay, the hunters are dead. I am ready to call off the video. If you are.
I'm almost done with this part, and then I'll probably just pause.
And yeah, okay. I'll just go grab this Jackal Sniper's Stalker rifle. Right here. And yeah, I am at the gate. Ready to tackle the... I don't know if I'm willing to call this the hardest fight in the game. But it's probably the most ambitious just because of the sheer amount of enemies there are.
The House of Reckoning. I was right.
Yeah, let me just go back and get a checkpoint, and then I'll pause.
How do we get in there?
Alright. Just clearing out the initial gate room.
Also, why can't Marines sit on the side of the Scorpions anymore?
I don't know. I wish that was something you could do. Because that, I understand not letting them drive because they were always kind of crappy drivers. I still don't agree with the decision, but I can at least see the thought process there. I cannot see the thought process behind not wanting to let them ride on the side of the Scorpion. That is just a mystery to me. Okay. I think I'm at a good stopping point. If you are ready to call it.
Yeah, I am too.
Alright, then we'll wrap things up here. And so next episode, we're going to finish the road, definitely, and we might also finish the House of Reckoning. It depends on how long, because the House of Reckoning is a long mission. It's got the 2 wave defense rooms, the Jacob battle, and the Eshram battle, so iffy on whether we get through House of Reckoning, but we're going to try. So that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. Until then, this has been GamingMagic13
And GroupUnicorn71.
I hope to see you all next time for the next episode of Halo Infinite Versus. Goodbye.